over Princeton. Um, I thought we had a good day out there. We have really two goals for the bye week for our team right now. The first one is to get healthy, and I think we've got some guys that are getting healthier by the day, and the other one is to get better. And everybody that's out there on the practice field and in the meeting rooms, we need them at the end of this week just to be a little bit better. And if everybody in our team and in our program is a little bit better by the end of the week, collectively, I think we've made some significant progress as a football team. Ruhan Peel is going to stay on defense through the Central Florida game, so that'll be the next two-game block that we have with the game a week from Saturday and then the short week. I don't know if it would make sense to move him back after the next game. What we'll do is we'll reevaluate it after the Central Florida game to see what the future will hold there. But I thought Ruhan and DeLon Stevenson really did a nice job on Saturday playing corner, really in their first game action. And Dear Barnwell is back with us today, which is good. That'll add some depth to the corner position as well as we get closer to game time. Questions?
Do you have a pecking order there? I mean, is it going to be kind of an open competition next week? How are you going to go about that?
No pecking order just yet. We'll have one eventually. The one thing I said to Ruhan when we made the decision that he was going to stay on defense is that we'll increase his role. What that'll mean in terms of who goes out there the first play, I don't know that yet. But I think Ruhan has certainly played a significant role in the game on Saturday, and I think with more practice time and through the bye week and more time in the classroom with Coach Wilson and Coach Cohen, I think we can increase what he can do for us.
Kyle, for the naked eye, how did Paul James look out there?
I thought he looked good. We did it. He did probably about a little more than half the practice. I thought he ran around well. I see him running. He looks like he's full speed, which I expected. There's some. He thinks he could have played last week, so that's great. I'm glad he feels that way. But he looked good out there today.
Kyle, if he's able to play in that Cincinnati game, he won't actually have any contact until the game itself?
No, we'll thud him.
Okay.
Yeah, we won't tackle anybody.
I'm just wondering how you treat that injury. Does he have to get that out of the way, a hit on that leg, to sort of clear that psychological barrier or obstacle?
I don't know. I've heard players say that before. I don't know. Maybe you could ask him that question. I'm not really sure about that. I think he's confident in it, and usually when you see a guy run, you can tell right away whether or not they're confident in it. He ran today with no issue with his gait at all. I was really pleased, and tomorrow I anticipate him doing the whole practice.
Kyle, with Nadir, does he go back to his role as a starter, or does he have to work his way through?
I don't know that we have a starter right now at that position, but he goes back to working with the defense, with the 1 and 1.5s, which is really what we have at this point in the season. I don't know that we have 2s and 3s anymore, but now he's back competing for a role. Just like DeLon Stevenson's competing for a role, just like Ruhan Peel's competing for a role, just like Garif Glashan is competing for a role at corner. But I think we've got 4 guys after last week that we feel like we can go compete with, which is good.
Do you lose any confidence in Burt since he's fumbled twice, lost 2 fumbles in 2 games?
I don't. I've got a tremendous amount of confidence in Michael, and I think the rest of the team does too.
Kyle, we were talking last week about how it's hard to get 3 running backs carries when we were talking about Desmond Peoples. If Paul comes back and Goodwin comes back, where does Savon fit into that role, and kind of maybe something like the last drive he had 3 catches 2 games ago. He had some big catches on that last drive. Is that kind of where you see him?
No, I don't know that yet. I think we got to wait until next week and evaluate it. I think we're so far out from the game, it would be tough to say this is going to be his role, this is going to be this guy's role. Right now, they're all competing for roles, and Justin. Not talking about the fumble where he kind of got hit in an awkward position and the ball came out on him, but he probably didn't have as good a game as he did his first couple games. There was a reading what he was supposed to be reading, so I don't know if it's time yet to decide that. It is hard to get 3 guys carries. There's no doubt about that. So we'll have to come up with some kind of order as we get there early next week.
But does Savon give you something maybe in pass? I mean, obviously you put him in at the end of the game there for a reason. I mean, does he give you something in pass protection or in the screen game that you like?
He does, but it's nothing that the other guys couldn't give us that we would like either. Justin's had some screens that have been pretty productive also. I think Savon, when you get in that point in the game, I think we're fortunate to have somebody like Savon who's been in those type of situations many times, and you put him in there and he's able to protect for you and then get out and find the right spots in the defense to catch the ball and then advance it. And then from there, either get out of bounds or do what he needs to do in the 2-minute drill. So I think Savon was very valuable in that situation. what the roles will be, we'll define those next week.
Got time for 2 more?
Kyle, what are you looking to see with the personnel at center during the bye week?
We got to build some depth. We have to build some depth. There's no doubt. We'll get a read on Batim a little bit later, but Dallas has played for us and done a nice job. But beyond that, we don't have anybody who's done it, and that's something that we have to address. And we started addressing it earlier in the week, even though we weren't practicing it. But we'll continue to address it as we go through this week.
Kyle, what dictates how aggressive you want to be philosophically on offense in terms of wanting?
As soon as the game starts, we want to be very aggressive.
So when,
So when they start the game, that's what dictates it.
if you start the game with 11 runs, is that not being aggressive, or is it being aggressive in a different type of
Oh,
way?
I think it's being very aggressive. I think it's being very physical on offense, and we want to do those things. We're going to take it. We're always going to take a certain number of shots every game. I think last week we ended up with 8 explosive plays. Plays of 20 yards or more. I think that was the number for the game, which is good. I think our goal is either 5 or 6 when I look at it on paper, but we're going to be aggressive every week. I think you have to, with what we do on offense, you have to challenge defenses to stop you from running the ball and to match our physicalness as an offense. And you also have to challenge them to defend the field vertically, with our receivers.
Thanks, Kyle.